So, yeah, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. In today's session, we basically have, and I'm so thrilled. We have, we're going to deep dive into travel stories that truly capture the spirit of Black women, and our how we move, how we shape, um, you know, our stories, our life stories, the incredible highs and the frustrating lows. So get ready because we're setting up a double dose of tea that's going to make you think, feel, and maybe even, get a little fired up. Fired up today, people. That is our plan. I forgot to make myself. Oh, I did. I did. So enjoy your tea while you're at it. Yeah. So, like I said, we're talking about journeys, journeys of reclaiming our heritage and, building sisterhood and navigating the sometimes unwelcome landscapes of travel, from groundbreaking travel to, company defining luxury and you know, connecting to controversial airline policies that really spark outrage. I think this is a story that happened in February, but we'll jump right into it. So we're going to unpack, a lot of that. Grab your favorite mug of tea, as I said, or coffee or wine, whatever, and settle in. Let's spill the tea, guys. Let's spill our tea. I'm gonna switch off this light a little bit. Let's spill this tea. Okay, so first up, let's celebrate some incredible news that's all about empowerment, heritage, and to share joy of Black women exploring the world together. So we're talking about Black women abroad, or is it BWA, I believe. So trust me, this is so much more than just a travel agency. So let's delve into it. So BWA was, a vision, a vision born from two phenomenal travelers, Christa Sanders and please excuse me if I say your name wrong, but Jotney Iris Stubbs. These are African American ladies, our sisters, that collectively explored an astonishing, 49 African nations and nearly 80 countries worldwide. Can you even imagine that, guys? So, through their extensive travels, they noticed a significant gap. And I think that's what happens, right? You travel, you notice, you make some points. And that's how some businesses are also, bred, basically. So the travel experience is often, you know, didn't truly center the unique identities, desires, and maybe perspectives from a Black woman perspective. As I said, sometimes you find that you're alone out there, even though you love to travel, but there's no space for you to explore as a Black woman. So what these wonderful ladies, these two great women, did is that they decided to create something special, itineraries that seamlessly blend luxury with deep cultural immense and genuine sisterhood, I would say. And and let me tell you something. The 2026 Voyager calendar is here. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this creates and develop and grow as years go by. This BWA, congratulations to these ladies. I mean, we're talking about journeys. This is the BWA that span from continents like Africa, the Caribbean, South America, and Europe. So these aren't just, sightseeing tours. They are basically deeply enriching experiences. Think heritage, site visits that connect you to your roots. Yeah, local community engagements that offers authentic cultural exchange. So, it's what I often, and I've done my own tidbits in terms of providing you guidance in terms of exploring culture, speaking the language just a little bit, even if it's to say hello, bye bye, bonjour, au revoir. So this is what these ladies are venturing into. And even, private voyages designed for families, that is a nice one for me. Is, if you have a package that just kind of speaks to you and family, go for it. And of course, me and private or solo travelers as well. This is great, guys. I mean, it's not something new, but it's something that builds and speaks to our women, especially. They're bringing back, fan favorites like Morocco, South Africa, my country, um, Italy and Ghana, alongside exciting new destinations. So I'm looking forward to this one. I might just reach out to the ladies to tell us more about their adventure. So this brings us to the beautiful concept of heritage travel. It's about going, beyond your typical tourist spots. It's about actively engaging with your local cultures, like I said, understanding nuances, and for many, you want to, at least for me, reconnect with your ancestral roots. So I was reading about travelers who joined naming ceremonies in Ghana, and they described the feeling of overwhelmed. I guess you get overwhelmed, sense of belonging and a profound connection that only heritage travel can offer. Yeah, it's about finding pieces of yourself, places you might never have expected. And I think we take for granted as people that, I've always, I know my history, my South African heritage, and we take it for granted of what we know that there are people out there that are trying to find that history, that connection with their families or their heritage, really. But BWS impact doesn't stop at incredible trips. So they are, passionately expanding their, I think it's called Study Abroad Student Scholarship. This is now at Spelman College. It's a vital fund and it's dedicated to helping, talented Black women, students study abroad. This is lovely, particularly in Africa. I think that for me, it's perfect, just spectacular, and obviously beyond. Their clear mission is really to ensure that you learn more about the country, yeah, or wherever you are, which country you ever choose. You gain that invaluable global experiences, and I mean it's almost like when you get your degree, right? No one can take that away from you. So I bow to them on that. So, how are they finding this amazing initiative? They're doing something that is quite innovative, I would say. They have a limited travel merchandise, the BWA merchandise. It's very stylish, branded passport holders, chic travel bags, and more, supporting BWA, which is quite a nice way to just support them through, if you're traveler seeking advantage. That's quite cool. Okay, so and for students seeking education, that's also a nice way to go that route to support them. It's a simple, beautiful cycle of giving back and empowering others while you're at it, isn't it? So kudos to the two ladies. So guys, today we have such a long show. So please bear with me, and I'm hoping that you enjoy. So this for me is quite priceless. Black travelers are increasingly prioritizing travel, which is quite nice, and the economic impact is felt basically. If I can share with you some numbers, there is a recent study that was done that found that 76% of Black travelers planned domestic vacation. This is in the US now. And collectively, Black leisure travelers spend staggering 145 billion. So I will just also share, the sources of this information. But this makes up about 11% of US leisure travel market. So travel isn't just a vacation for many, right? It's a form of healing, community building, and self. You self discovery. It's all about reconnecting people with your history. As a couple of we see a lot of people going to Ghana and connecting with their roots, connecting with their heritage. Let's not forget the power of online communities. Platforms like Black Goals, Solo Travels, and Black Travel Movement and Facebook are invaluable. I mean, I've got my own space, but it's still growing, and I think for me, it just encourages me to go further, learn more about this space. So, looking forward to also giving my contribution to that view, to that space. So there are spaces where travelers can vet destinations, share honest experiences, and find support. So, what groups do you rely on when you do your travel for travel advice? Just drop a comment and let me know. It would be quite interesting. Also, if you can reach out to these ladies or any platform, reach out to BWA if you're in the US. I know I'm in the UK, so I'm not too sure if they support, but I would really like to reach out to them myself to learn more. Because this, I think, is quite a great way to do something that you like, right? Let's share the wealth of knowledge. Now, I want to also hear from you in terms of if you could design your dream trip. Woohoo. Just imagine it, guys. Oh, if you were to go to, let me see, where do I want to be? Maldives would probably be not so much a solo trip. It will be something like a family and we family of 3. So it will be nice to just go out there as family to enjoy the blue seas. So where would you go and why? Imagine it, no limit. Just drop me a comment, right, in terms of destination and the reasons why. Sometimes we just want to go somewhere for reconnect to yourself or with others, with yourself rather, and others you want to, let's get inspired together. Yeah. Now, before I dive into our second story, it's so important that you understand the historical context of travel for Black people, especially in America. Travel hasn't always been accessible, a joyful experience many of us strive for today, right? It's a luxury, right? So back in the Jim Crow era, travel was fraught with danger and discrimination. Black families, had to navigate bad situations. Be interesting to see what the future looks like. Are changing as years go by, right? Um, so I think for me, the legacy is safety awareness and community vetting continues today, especially as we rely more on online communities to share information about treatment, quality of service, and local attitudes in different destinations. It's modern evolution of the Green Book, powered by digital connections. And speaking of evolution or evolving travel styles, the solo travel movement for me is absolutely booming among Black women. Shows like Traveling with Tracy Ellis Ross on Roku are shining a spotlight on incredible joys and unique challenges of exploring the world on your own terms. It's powerful to see the narratives of independence, self discovery, and being shared. Solo travel is more than just a trip for me, for many. It's an action of empowerment, declaration of freedom, and resilience. It allows unparalleled flexibility and chance to truly connect, you know, with yourself and the environment that you're going or you're in. This brings up an interesting point: group travel versus solo travel. Some of us thrive in camaraderie, built-in safety of group tours, like uh, the ones organized by Black travelers internationally, right? That were mentioned in some articles. Others cherish absolute freedom and introspection, like myself. Sometimes that solo travel offers. So, what's your travel style? And are you a group traveler? Are you a solo explorer? Share your preferences. Let me know. And any tips that you have for us fellow travelers would be quite interesting. Please comment below. Okay. All right, my people. Now we need to shift gears to a story that unfortunately highlights some of the persistent barriers and biases faced by travelers, particularly plus size women, right? We're talking about recent Southwest airline policies that was caused quite a stir back in January 2026. So Southwest, this is how the story go, introduced a new customer size policy. Can you believe that? Now, this policy states that passengers who encroached upon neighboring seats may be required to purchase, an extra, almost like you're paying for an extra seat, right? Never thought we would see this. Uh, you may purchase maybe a number of seats needed to accommodate themselves. It also mentions that Southwest reserves the discretion to decide when an extra seat is necessary and ask customers to inform the airline in advance so they can arrange adjusted seats, right? Adjacent seats. So you can imagine, there you are at the airport, your reasonable size, I would say, respectable size, as any size is, and you're told, you have to buy two more seats. And, So anyway, moving forward, this policy came to head for a lady named Ruby Cosby. She's a resident of Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, on the 27th, I think it was the 28th of February, she was boarding a flight in LA for a much anticipated cruise. You know how we love our cruise. Last week I did a story on, cruise ships for South African women, so we're all catching up. At the gate, mind you, she's informed that an agent needs to purchase, by an agent rather, that she needs to purchase an extra seat, a second seat, due to her size, right? Now, Ruby was flown, she has flown Southwest Airline many times before and insisted she fit comfortably within a single seat. Despite her assurances, the gate agent demanded an additional $450. Oh my word. Now, guys, this really pisses me off because you can imagine 450, and she might even have an extra bag that she needs to pay for. So you can, imagine what now you have to add up the money and yeah. So, and this is, by the way, on the spot that she needs to pay this money. So when Ruby couldn't, she couldn't understand probably what is going on. There's an expected fee that I have to pay. Her ticket was canceled. Imagine, ticket canceled. Heartbrokenly, she ended up purchasing, her cruise, but the experience was for Ruby. So yeah, these things can happen too, especially if, there is that unawareness or people are not told upfront. Because some policies, they may they're not that clear in terms of, the guidelines are not there. There's no objective. There's no specific guidelines to let people know, and could easily this could be misused, right, or applied unfairly, especially impacting us curvier Black women who, may already face scrutiny. While South Airline has stated the policy aligns with industry standards and that they have, reached to Mrs. Crosby, the incident has sparked widespread debate and concern. And Ruby isn't alone. The Root reported, another frequent Southwest flyer. There's another one, Ruby Renee, who described that, she had a similar experiences of being stopped and told, buy another ticket, buy another seat, even though she felt she fit comfortably. She argued that the policy lacks, specific size measurements and can be used and abused towards Black women. There's another traveler, Ms. Catherine, stated she was denied boarding before the policy was even officially in effect, and has since vowed to never fly Southwest Airline. So we're seeing these comments flooding, on media, social media. People are sharing similar stories, expressing solidarity and, frustration. So this situation highlights, there is a border issue. Many airlines, they do that, policies that, people need to pay extra tickets for extra seats. However, the implementation varies widely. And Southwest Airline discretionary language opens a door for, subjective judgments here. People can do whatever with this policy. So I think this intersects deeply, and it ingrained issues of. It goes deeply into the issue of we call it fat phobia, right, and racial bias in society. I think, which can unfortunately manifest in how these policies are enforced. So Southwest maintains that, policy is a policy standard, but the experience, I can only imagine what's experienced by these two ladies, suggests a need for greater transparency, right? The question is, should airlines standardize clear, objective measurements for seats, or should they focus on providing better accommodations and more, inclusive options? What do you think? Let me know. Have any of you encountered similar issues? Has this happened to you? But at the same token, I think that it is quite shocking that, unfortunately, this will continue to happen, especially the biases. You just never know what's true, what's not. So, guys, this was a whole lot. I didn't show you the picture of these two ladies, Christa and Johnette. We had a lot to unpack today in our show. So I want to hear from you. What do you think of especially our last story? I think for me, seeing what the future holds for the two ladies. And I honestly think that for people like Ruby who are able to stand out for themselves, it teaches us all to always question, the norm. Ask questions, challenge what you are told, especially Black women. There's something about that. I was thinking about this situation when I was preparing for this episode 6. That but maybe it will be an episode for another day. But I was thinking about how many people have stand up for me, especially Black women. I think it's not only about you standing for yourself. I think the people next to you also need to be aware of what's happening around you, especially as Black women. We need to stand out for the others, especially the shy ones, the quiet ones. I know I'm a speaker. I get into trouble. I get that from my mother. If I see something wrong, and it doesn't matter, black, white, Indian, I just say my piece. I guess it comes from, coming from a family of people that have always fought for others and their rights. So that's it, my people. Wow. This was the longest show ever. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I always learn a lot from these episodes. The Sunday, definitely to me, hot tea. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences about travel. I'd like to hear from you. There's a lot out there. And guys, we will be looking forward to launching our merch for especially Solo Not Sorry. There's a lot of merch coming in the next few, a month or so. So I'll keep you posted. As you can see this photo. Am I pointing? This one here. I made it myself because I just missed home. I missed South Africa. I created my own artwork. So thank you very much. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. All right, guys. We leave you with the usual. Today, there you go. That's our quote. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Loud to keep. So, keep taking these steps, no matter how small they may be or may seem. Take care, everyone. Bye.